There are three absolutes in this world: death, taxes, and Mario Kart. Since the Super Nintendo, there has never been a Nintendo console released without Mario Kart. There just hasn't. It has not happened. On Nintendo's current console, the Nintendo Switch 2, you have 6 different ways to play Mario Kart. They have been beating that dead horse for 35 years, and through what I assume is Super Mario mind control, we as a species simply cannot escape Mario Kart. It is inevitable. When it drops, we buy it. No questions asked. That is, I think, until Mario Kart World. When Mario Kart World released in June of 2025, there was a shocking amount of negative press. Some justified, some not so much, but by far the biggest gripe with Mario Kart World was, well, you guys know what it was.
Well, Mr. Funny Man, is this how you get your sick kicks?
What? It's just an ordinary Krabby. Oh my goodness!
Now, to play devil's advocate and to go along with what I said, Nintendo consoles and Mario Kart have always gone hand in hand. You could get Mario Kart World for just $50 if you bought it bundled with your Switch 2, which is less than Mario Kart 8 was at launch, and I think most people did that. I did. I think the ones who paid the full $80 are primarily the ones who feel like they got robbed, and rightfully so. I mean, this is not an $80 game. I'm not sure if Mario Kart was ever innately designed to be that big AAA max price game. I always thought it functioned better as a kind of accessory game, if you will, something you kind of just hop on when you're bored and play, or if you only have a few minutes before work, stuff like that, kind of passive gaming. Even with the big open world that they pushed so hard in marketing, I just don't think that this entry at launch could justify costing the same as something like GTA 6 or The Outer Worlds 2, and that's not necessarily a content issue because there's easily over 60 hours of content in Mario Kart World. I think it's a genre issue. There's only so much juice that you're going to be able to squeeze out of a kart racer in terms of innovation and excitement. It's a fairly limited genre, and I just don't know if you'll ever be able to squeeze $80 worth of juice out of that small of a fruit. That was a phenomenal analogy. Now, Nintendo has been supplying a pretty steady stream of free content updates for Mario Kart World, doing things like revamping the criminally barren intermission tracks, adding new battle modes and Knockout Tour tracks. Best mode in the game, by the way. Knockout Tour is pure chaos. And just overall trying to add enough to the current experience to probably at the very least get the angry mob off of their back, especially regarding one of their legacy titles. With all of that being said, I figured that after putting it down for about 8 months, it was about time that I hop back into the driver's seat and see if these updates and additions can bring Mario Kart World any closer to not only its $80 price point, but to the hype and expectations that we all had after a decade-long Mario Kart hiatus. My name is Zach, and let's talk about Nintendo. Jumping right in, I wanted to start out with Bob-omb Blast since I was the most excited about the addition of a new battle mode. Once I started playing though, I was immediately reminded that this is the first generation of Nintendo games that in terms of visual fidelity aren't really a step down from the surrounding competition. Nintendo made it a point with the Switch 2 that this generation of console was going to be the one that the diehard super gamer or whatever could pick up and get a relatively similar experience. Mario Kart World on release and a year later is one of the more visually pleasing games to play on Switch 2. I immediately went off topic. The concept of Bob-omb Blast is super simple. Pop your opponent's balloons before they pop yours. The catch? Ordnance. Every item block is a Bob-omb, and they stack. Oh boy, do they stack. This, to me, is the most fun of the battle modes. I'm not sure if it's the simplicity of it or the Michael Bay level of explosions, but if I'm going to play a battle mode, this is more often than not going to be my pick. I just hope that they can continue to flesh out the battle modes a little more, maybe something utilizing the open world aspect. I think that could be fun. This is, I think, where the opportunity to add more value to Mario Kart and to reach a broader audience is. We already have examples of car-based games doing exceptionally well within a PvP setting. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a game called Rocket League, but it's done pretty well in its total lifespan. I think if Nintendo wants to reach that money tree competitive audience, they're going to have to push the boundaries at least a little bit. Take some pages out of Rocket League or maybe Crossout's book and turn their battle mode into a reason to buy Mario Kart. Knockout Tour was the heavily marketed, flashy new game mode for Mario Kart World. It's a 24-player race, the most in the series, that takes you through multiple checkpoints within the game's open world. It's definitely the most chaotic mode, and that's a good thing. The first half of a Knockout Tour race is just this violent blender of shells and boomerangs, which provides a genuine sense of survival if and when you manage to make it through all of the mayhem. This is also where the next and maybe most important set of updates start to show. The intermission tracks, which make up a considerable portion of the Mario Kart world, were embarrassingly barren at launch. Barren might even be an understatement. Most, if not all, of these tracks consisted of one straight line with little to no obstacles. Something like a stretch of highway or path through the water where literally waves are the only thing actually on the track. Which, sure, maybe in a more realism-centered game like Forza, this would likely go unnoticed. With something as eccentric and goofy as Mario Kart, you can't just have entire tracks where nothing happens. I see that every day on the way to work. I don't want to see that in Mario Kart. Nintendo seemingly listened to the fans here because a few months after release, a ton of the game's intermission tracks were updated and upholstered, and it made an immediate difference, especially in the Knockout Tour mode. And with the absolute newest update, which released a few days before making this video, Knockout Tour got 2 new routes, both of which seem to show off these updated intermission tracks pretty well. So perfect for exactly what we're talking about. I'll be honest, as I was playing through both of these races, was it fun? Yes. Was it more fun than the other Knockout Tour races? Sure. Was it considerably more fun? I don't know, man. Look, I think this is the best Mario Kart game that we've gotten in a while. And considering we sat with Mario Kart 8 for over a decade, it's really refreshing to see Nintendo, at the very least, try something different with the series. But for Nintendo to label Mario Kart World as one of its marquee titles and to price it as such at $80, regardless of the ability to get it cheaper bundled, is disingenuous and greedy at worst and out of touch at best. These updates did make me reinstall Mario Kart World, and I do find myself playing it more now that the content is a little more fleshed out. But I think at its current state, Mario Kart World on the Switch 2, you could maybe make the case for it to be priced at $70, and I only think that because I personally enjoy Mario Kart World more than I did Mario Kart 8, which launched at $60. But to push it into that maximum price point, give me a break. There just isn't enough here. There's not enough meat here to say that this is an $80 sandwich. You'd have to be really fucking hungry to buy this sandwich for $80. $50, $60, I'll buy that sandwich. Sure, why not? Alright, that analogy was not as good. Mario Kart World is, to me, the best rendition of Mario Kart that we've gotten. I think that there's just more to do and to have fun with in this game than ever before. But this is all relative to other Mario Karts. This being the biggest game in the series does not mean that it should be priced alongside the best games of other, much bigger, more profitable genres. Unfortunately, despite how good of a game Mario Kart World is, no matter how many updates, because of the pedestal that Nintendo placed it on, it will always be seen as an underwhelming release, which is so disappointing considering, to me, like I said, it is probably the most impressive game in the franchise. But who knows, maybe Nintendo has some kind of crazy grand plan for Mario Kart World that'll propel it to live up to all the hype. Probably not, but like I said, who knows? If you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, the easiest way to let me know would be to like this video and subscribe. That way you can hear this beautiful voice talk about this beautiful mustache over and over again. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.